my name is Devin, and I'm a senior developer at Expression. In this video, I will give you an overview of an advanced expression feature called Dynamic Data Models, or DDM for short. Dynamic data models provide developers working within Expression the ability to create their own custom relational data models, which can be worked with and integrated into your site or application the same as any of the native Expression APIs. This is useful when none of Expression's built-in APIs directly service a need for your website or application. This expands the customizability of Expression immensely, allowing for complete definitions of custom object types and their relationships. These custom objects are accessed through Expression's API using the same syntax and workflow you are already familiar with from standard Expression development. On the technical side, DDMs are supported by their own native SQL backend, giving you the same performance and relational rigor as you would expect from a custom-built solution, with the benefit that the APIs you create will be fully consistent with all of our standard API features. To talk in practical examples of the application of DDMs with Expression, here at our shop we have used DDMs to create site-specific testimonial management tools, custom comment system, and full applications, such as one which manages a complex model involving student and teacher objects with attached goals and block schedules. Your imagination really is the limit here. The idea is, if we don't have it, you can build it. No custom API stack or hosting needed. This overview video follows the same steps and logic as exposed in our documentation, which you can find on the Expression.cloud website by navigating to Documentation and finding the Dynamic Data Model section within that documentation. In this video, we'll go over the sample model from the documentation. The concept of this tutorial is to add data models to Expression which can hold the data for a handful of new data types we will create within Expression. The primary type will be books, and we will also create authors and genres to provide a way of modeling a simple inventory of books which can then be marked up or scripted in SSJS exactly the same as any of the native APIs. For this demonstration, I will be working from a website starter called Customize Your Own Website. However, don't worry if you picked a different one, as any website starter from the Expression.cloud signup will work. Dynamic data models are created by running a server-side JS script which will contain our model definitions. In order to run the script, we followed the example from the documentation and created a simple entry point element, which can be used to run the script with a simple URL and a query parameter to control when the build happens. As a quick overview of how this is set up, let's look first of all at the element, which does the simple job of showing us the message returned from the script. This element has one data source attached, a null adapter, which does no work on its own, instead directing control to the SSJS script defined in the output processors field of the data source. Within the script, copied from the Expression documentation, we have a couple of things to note. First of all, at the top of the script, we see that we are controlling whether the interior of the script runs with the URL parameter build. In our example, we use a simple 0-1 toggle. For production applications, you'll probably want to change this to use a more complex password or secret. The function of this parameter is simply to control whether or not the build portion of our script runs. The second item of note is the model definition in the interior of the code block controlled by the build parameter. Expression provides a built-in helper object for defining dynamic data models, which takes a declaration of a model and manages all of the API calls required to build the model for you. The parameters to build the model are more in-depth than we can cover in a short video, so if you would like to learn more, then please review the dynamic data model documentation. This documentation will explain the format of the definition and the functions of each parameter. Now that we've had an overview of the scripting required to build a model, let's actually trigger our build by navigating to the URL of the element that we've created to run the DDM script containing our model. After running the script by hitting the element's URL, we can see our complete message indicating success from the DDM script. After this has run, we will notice some interesting changes to our Expression workspace. Upon reloading, you will notice that the Dynamic Data Model menu option is added to the left-hand page. Clicking on the menu option to expand it, we see the new listings present for the models created by the build scripts: books, genres, and authors. These objects have editors automatically created for them and can be edited using the same workflows that apply elsewhere in the Expression workplace, such as user or category editing. Let's create a new entry in the genre model called horror. Thanks to the relationships defined in the example code from the documentation, Expression knows that genres can be attached to books. Here we are demonstrating how Expression automatically builds listings and editors for you to work with and update the data contained within your models. If we check now under the Develop API tab, we can see that Expression has created API endpoints for our new authors, books, and genre models. All custom APIs created with dynamic data models will be placed under the custom namespace in the API's URL. If we inspect one of the custom APIs we have created, we can see that they support the same filtering, routes, and API hooks as any native Expression objects. You can even give your new API a test using this interface to post and retrieve data from the endpoints that have been created. In summary, the dynamic data model feature is extremely powerful, allowing you to define any type of custom data which you can integrate seamlessly into your Expression project. If we don't support it out of the box, you can build it. And as always, we're excited to see what you create.